Hey there, I'm Melissa Roberts, relationship and life coach and creator of Gumball Love. So you've seen me online, you're thinking about doing coaching, but you're not sure. So I want to just give you a quick overview because I know even setting up a call and just sitting there with a coach and like admitting you need help with something can even be intimidating. So I just want you to have something kind of as a buffer between that to see, okay, do I like Melissa? Do I feel like I can see her working with me? Do I feel comfortable? And, just get some quick questions answered. So, first, who is this for? You're either single or you're in a relationship you're not sure about or you need to get out of. Those are my two specialty areas. If you are with a guy that fits some of the things that I talk about, where he's attention seeking and you're seeing some red flags, but you're not sure what you should do, you feel like you're in too deep. Maybe you're married and you're considering, maybe I need to leave, but I'm not ready to leave. So if you're in a relationship, even if we see all the red flags, everybody's shocked when I say or when I don't coach you to just leave that relationship right away. There's a process. And so I give you the space to make those decisions on your own, but get you to a point where you feel strong enough and that you trust your instincts and your decisions. On the other side, if you're single, you also may not trust your own decisions and your instincts, and you're wondering, how can I make the right decision for the last time? Like, you just want to find somebody, you want to be able to see what you haven't been able to see before, to stop the cycle that's happening over and over again. So I always say my program is about stopping the cycle, discovering your worth, and finding true love. But finding true love is about getting over a lot of fears because a lot of people want it, but you're so afraid of what could happen if you find somebody that you actually like, and then you let yourself get vulnerable, let your guard down, and then all of a sudden your life is completely derailed. And then if you're a high achiever, like you probably are if you're following me, and you've got all these things going on in your life, the last thing you want is a relationship that's going to ruin it, that's going to derail you, that's going to cost you money, more time, more effort, more heartache. And so this program is really about making sure or giving you the tools so that you are sure that you are making the right choice. And I know there's a lot of stuff out there, so I'm going to tell you what I don't do. I don't tell you to embody your feminine energy. I do not have a bunch of tips and tricks and tactics of what to do when he does that. We are not reactive to what men are doing. That is actually what I call junior high boss babe advice. This is a term I've come up with recently where I feel like women like us, because I include myself, we are stunted emotionally when it comes to romance. And we're mature in every other area. But let's say if you're like me, you didn't go to prom, or you didn't have a boyfriend in high school, or if you had a boyfriend, it was really unhealthy. But I think for a lot of people, we didn't get healthy experiences with boys at the time when we were younger. And so by the time maybe college came around or you graduated from college, you're in a job and you still don't have those relationship skills. And so what's happening in your romantic life is really immature by comparison to your career, your personal life, and your friends. And the older we get, the more embarrassing this gets. And then you're trying to go to family functions. And then when you do date a guy, and you bring him to a function, you know how you feel embarrassed because you're just like, I know I could probably do better. And but you bring him to a function and then he's any number of things where he doesn't quite fit in. He all of a sudden he acts bored, you feel anxious. Like you really don't feel comfortable. You've never been able to feel comfortable and just relax and be yourself with any guy you've ever dated or maybe even been married to. So I help people that have been married and divorced. Some of my clients have been married and divorced one, two, three times. And they're like, what's wrong with me? Everybody thinks there's something wrong with them. And I think that that belief just continues to grow more and more as the years pass. And then a lot of people don't get help because they just assume there has to be something wrong. And then people will say, well, the common denominator is you. So, And then you think, yeah, maybe like it has to be me, right? There has to be something wrong. Like, what is it? And then it becomes really scary to even investigate, is there going to be something wrong? So I just want to assure you that this is not about figuring out what's wrong with you. And it may sound like, how can it be, Melissa? How can there be nothing wrong with me? Now, I'm not going to say that you're perfect and there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. But the reason you're not finding love is not because there's 10 things wrong with you. It's because you did not get the experience that you should have. You did not get the secure attachment that you should have from your parents. So this starts when we're young. You didn't get the attachment style. You have anxiety. You have a little bit of avoidance, and I just don't want to get into something that's going to hurt me. And then when you're in the relationship, you're afraid they're going to leave you. All of these things happen because of how you grew up. And so making decisions for healthy relationships and choosing the right kind of person is not second nature to you. And because it's not second nature to you, you've developed the patterns that have repeated over time that you don't know how they start, and you get in too far. It's like when you don't know what to look for and you don't understand, like a lot of people think, well, I'm just attracted to the bad boy or I'm attracting the wrong people. So we make all these assumptions, we create all these beliefs, and also think about the examples that you had or the lack of examples that you had when you were growing up. And when we have no example or a really bad example of love, then we unknowingly create a lot of beliefs about what love is and whether or not we can have it, or if we have it, it's going to be like that. And so all these fears are inside of you, all these unknowns. And so this process gets scarier and scarier. And then the older you get, like I said, those beliefs, the bad beliefs. So when you're in therapy, if you've gone to therapy, you talk through these things, but they don't really tell you how to change your lifestyle. They don't really tell you how to get to the goal. And this is where coaching is different. So I love for my clients to be in therapy, but if you haven't had a good experience in therapy or you feel like your therapist doesn't get you, that's okay. I just want you to know that you don't have to have a great therapist to be in this, but I say that to tell you, I believe that therapy is important and I know where therapy ends and coaching begins. So if you want to think of it as overall, coaching is focusing on taking you where you are now and moving forward. So we're going to look at how those patterns developed, but in a very short period of time, because my program is 3 months. So in 90 days, and it sounds like a big promise, but in 90 days, I'm going to be able to show you what those thoughts, beliefs, and patterns are, why they're stopping you, how to turn it around, and how to change your beliefs so that not only do you stop dating the wrong people, but you start to see, oh my God, this is why I felt like I was attracting the wrong guys. I see what I used to be attracted to before because I'm going to change your mindset. We're going to change your internal GPS so that you start thinking and acting like women that naturally find healthy relationships. This is the one thing that I feel like is not taught. We know we have anxious attachment. We know we have avoidant. We know we have all these, our combination of the two, the fearful avoidant. There's all these attachment styles. People talk about narcissism. Maybe I'm attracted to narcissists. And it's just like, to me, all of that is so overwhelming and it's so confusing because I used to feel like I had to get into a relationship and really figure it out. And by the time I learned his past and, what his mom and his grandma did and his grandpa and his dad and all of this, I was in love with him. I cared too much. So in order to learn the red flags for girls like you and me, it takes too much time to figure it out when we're trying to break down attachment styles and narcissism and all of that. I was not strong enough to make that assessment, try to trust my own decisions and instincts, and then proceed in the relationship. It's too hard to control how you feel when you're attracted and the chemistry is surging. That is so hard to then assess red flags and if this is a healthy relationship because you get blinded so quickly. So, this is where I come in. I'm going to help you figure out red flags, behaviors before you've even met him or on date one or date two. My clients will be like, oh my gosh, I've gone on like 5 first dates and I've eliminated them right away. And they're just like, what's going on? Because they're able to see, wow, I would have spent 3 months on that guy. I would have spent 6 months on that guy. And this is how it starts. You start spending less time on the wrong guys. And this is when it speeds up. And then you are able to align yourself with the types of guys that are going to be the best fit for you. There are guys out there that would be amazing husbands, but right now they feel intimidating to you. You look at guys and you're like, that's the kind of guy I'd really want to be with. But your confidence in your romantic life is not where it needs to be. You don't need any tips and tricks, but your confidence needs to be higher so that you understand, no, you are actually his equal. And he is not some fairy tale guy. He's a regular guy. He's just like you. You are equals, but right now you're not seeing. When you see him on an app or you see him out in real life and you think, oh man, that would be a great guy, but your confidence level isn't comfortable enough. So you're choosing a guy that's not as confident. And that guy that's not as confident is the one that breaks your heart. He's another bad cycle that's going to repeat. This is the gap we have to close. I have to get your confidence in yourself to the level that it is in your personal life and your professional life. Because as a professional woman, you need to not have this area of your life dragging you down and making you feel less than. Your coworkers that are married or your friends, your family members. You want to be able to do things with them and not always think, oh God, I don't have a date, or you know how it feels. It just feels like, why is this area misaligned? And it doesn't mean that those women necessarily have anything more than you do. Only the ones that are actually happily married or in happy relationships, they have an edge that used to really bug me because I could see people in happy relationships knew something that I didn't. They could see things that I couldn't see. And it just felt so natural. They would naturally end things with a guy where I would think, wow, I didn't see what she saw. I don't get it. How can she be so picky? How can she just date whoever she wants to date? It didn't make sense to me until I learned I learned the hard way. I always tell my clients, I did the hard time so you don't have to. I'm going to give you I'm going to give you the like the judge that lets you go free instead of having to do the time because I sat in the wrong relationships. I worked through until I developed the Gumball love method because this method is what combines attachment style, everything you've learned into therapy into attention seeking behavior. And this is the method that will save you years of your life. This is the way to get you to the love of your life in the fastest way possible and avoid all of the wrong relationships so that you'll start to have so much more confidence. You'll feel so much better in your own skin, and you will start to feel on the level of the guy that's actually going to marry you. This is where we have to get you to the point where you are aligned and you feel on the same page, on the same level, where you feel comfortable talking to him on dates, where you don't feel like, is he going to like me? Oh my God, is he going to text? Is he going to call? All of that is what I call the junior high boss babe mentality, where we have a junior high mentality when it comes to romance, but we're a boss babe in every other area. The junior high version of us needs to grow up and start dating adult men. All of us that think all men are jerks, I can't get it right, we're simply just dating insecure men because we're insecure in this area. And when you date insecure men in this area, they will tell you, you're too much. You're so intimidating. And how much money do you make? And how much is that purse? Immature, insecure guys are focused on these things, which then makes you doubt yourself even more. And when you doubt yourself even more, it sets you back again. So what's important to do is to get you out of the cycle of dating these types of guys as fast as possible. And so that's the first thing I focus on is breaking that pattern. You are going to be like, Oh my God, I cannot believe it's this simple. It's so simple once you look at this is why I don't judge you when we're looking at your past and your patterns because I know how exciting it's going to be once the light bulbs turn on. It doesn't matter how many guys you've dated, if you dated a married guy or two married guys or you were stuck in a 5-year affair with a married guy. It all is because of very similar things at their root cause, and I get them, and it's so easy to unravel and get you to see it and let go of the shame. So that's where my mindset is when I'm coaching you. It's not about, reliving your past and having shame for your mistakes, but you can do that with other people, but that's not what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to get you past this so you can overcome it. So this becomes part of your past forever and you can find the guy that actually gets you. Because here's the thing, a lot of people have never had true love, and I was one of them. I was never in a relationship where I could really be my true self, totally myself, not like anybody else, just really me, like the me I am when I'm around my sister, the me I am when I'm around my best friends. If you've never been able to be that version of you inside of a relationship and be loved for exactly who you are unconditionally, you haven't experienced true love. So that might be like, ugh, I don't like hearing that. But here's the good news is if you haven't really had true love, then you are going to experience it for the first time in your life. You are actually going to have a relationship where you feel completely free, totally yourself, loved for who you are, a man that will fall in love with you for who you are, not the attention you're giving him, not for your best performance, not for making him feel like a hero. You're going to find the guy that is actually the hero in your eyes. And you're not going to have to make him feel like one because he actually will earn your respect and continue to earn your respect all through your relationship. This seemed impossible to me. And I went all the way to age 42. I actually met my husband at 38, but we did not end up together until I was 42. We're both 42, we're the same age. And I I know what it's like to try to imagine what it could be like and feel like it's just this like a fairy tale. I mean, it does start to feel like this fake thing that can't be possible. And when you've gone a really long time without having it, it feels like this unattainable goal. And then it just feels like I don't know. It feels like when I'm saying this, I'm just relating to you that I know how ridiculous it might sound to say these things. However, this is what people with secure attachment do naturally. If you're not familiar with attachment styles, is people that have secure attachment, they don't worry about this stuff. They don't think that they're never going to find love. And they just find it because they believe it. Brene Brown said, those who feel worthy of love and belonging have love and belonging. When we feel worthy of it, we have it. But when we don't feel worthy of it, something happened in our childhood, other relationships that makes us feel like, I don't know if I'm enough. That's the number one thing. Am I enough? Am I going to be enough? And a lot of times when you're in relationships with what we call gumball people, they are always making you feel like you have to perform. They are, it is like it's never enough for them because they are they are communicating with you in a different currency. They're showing you, here's my quarter, where's my gumball? And that's what they're doing all the time. Give me attention, give me attention. And so when you're used to relationships based on it's like when it's always transactional, it's hard to imagine what's a non-transactional relationship look like. Is that really real? And it doesn't feel real because when women like us have had all transactional types of relationships, you didn't grow up around healthy relationships. It feels like this, like it feels impossible until you transition to secure attachment. And I knew that I had to somehow create a program that made that happen. Otherwise, the pattern repeats. And this is what I've been able to do and what I've proven for the last decade. And This program has never been as good as it is right now. In fact, my clients in my current group are jealous of you right now if you join because they're like, they've learned so much and they created so much more dimension because anytime someone works with me, your story, your perspective is going to add to the fabric of this whole process. And it's going to continue helping the next women and eventually men that come into this program. So I want you to get excited about that because look, you're really smart. You're so successful. You have so much that you will be able to bring to the table. And once you come in and you get this download, you'll be like, you will feel such a sense of empowerment because what has seemed like such a mystery to you will become completely clear. And then this is why I call it level up because you're leveling up and then you will get to the place where all the secure attachment people are, the people that feel worthy of love. And then bingo, there's your guy. He will just appear out of nowhere. This is why my wedding song was I Just Haven't Met You Yet. Just Haven't Met You Yet by Michael Bublé. Because uh there's a line and out of nowhere you came into my life. And that's exactly I just got chills. It's exactly the way it felt with my husband. And when he came into my life, I knew I was worthy and I expected to have love. I didn't feel like maybe I'm not enough because I knew I was enough. And instead of having the I hope I'm enough mentality, I was in the mindset of if I'm not enough for him, I need to move on because if what I have to offer is not good enough for you, then I've got to move on. I'm not going to try to be good enough for somebody anymore. And I want to give you that confidence and that empowerment because that is what is so attractive to healthy men. Healthy men want to see you be who you are. They are not intimidated. They let you be and they let you do whatever you want. I tell my clients, I feel so free in my marriage. I feel like just like I did when I was single. I do whatever I want. I say what I want. My husband supports me and encourages me and invests in me and we talk about gumball love. I never imagined being with somebody that I could share my journey with, my relation. Imagine me trying to build this brand single, which I did for many years, and find a guy that not only could accept me, but accept a woman that's talking about relationships. So I say that to inspire you that if you're not a relationship coach, it'll be a little bit easier for you to find love, right? It's a little bit harder for us that are talking about relationships and then trying to have a relationship on the side. It was a little bit of a transition for me, but with the right person, it was so easy. He was like, this concept is amazing. This is going to change lives. You're helping people. And so I want you to get excited that this process is going to help you to not only find love, but find the divorce proof marriage, the guy that you're going to be with, your best friend, the person that you're not only going to be yourself with, but you're going to have the most inside jokes, the most laughs, and the best time of your life. That is the kind of relationship that the relationship goals that I have for my clients. And my clients always say to me, Melissa, I just wish that I had grown up with parents who had as high of standard for me as you do. It's going to make me cry if I talk about it too long, but I do have a high standard for you because I know how much you give in relationships, how much love you have to offer. I know you because anyone who comes in to this community who's attracted to this, we are so similar in so many ways and we feel broken. We feel like there's, there's just been so much heartache that, you know, we feel like, I don't know if anything will work, but you're the kind of person that you're not ready to give up because you're here listening to this. And if you're listening to this point, you haven't given up because I'm great in relationships. If given the right guy, you'll be fine. And you know what? I proved that because I had so many guys that were high drama and, very what is it? Up and down. There's another word for that, like turbulent relationships. But with my husband, there's no turbulence. And it showed me that with the right relationship with the right person, you're going to be completely fine. and you do have the right skills. But what has to shift is that you need to be ready and feel ready for that kind of relationship. This is what nobody tells you. Everyone wants to sell you tips and tricks. And let me tell you, the tips and tricks, if you never work with me, just never work with somebody who's telling you how to get inside the mind of a man. It's a complete waste of time. You do not need to do that because get inside of the mind of what man? All men do not think the same, or embodying your feminine energy is the way. Embodying feminine energy means I'm going to start behaving in a certain way that attracts male energy. And those behaviors, if those aren't naturally and authentically you, then you essentially become attention seeking. It's a mask you don't wanna wear, you're uncomfortable, it's not you, and the only kinds of men that that behavior or those behaviors attract are attention-seeking men. So, it's a way to continue your pattern, but people can sell you short term, and then you end up with some guy, and then they record your testimonial, and then pretty soon the relationship ends 3, 6 months later, and you think, "Oh, man, that it worked, but what's wrong with me? I'm single again." And they got their money because they taught you a short-term solution. So changing who you are or studying men is not the way to find love. Okay. So just know those two things. And if you're hearing that in any pitch, it's garbage. It is targeting women that, like us, who are junior high boss babes. We have junior high mindset when it comes to romance, but we're boss babes in our lives. And that junior high version of us that's feeling insecure, that's feeling like unsure, and we're vulnerable and we're weak. And it's like, okay, maybe this is the thing I have to do because they know that they know that we lack those skills in that area because they could never sell this. They could never sell that stuff to somebody with secure attachment. People with secure attachment see through things faster. And so the purpose of this program is to give you the lens to see through it in a way that is comfortable saying no. It's almost like this is going to be so random, but you know how people that are on Ozempic, they just feel full and they just don't desire food. It's kind of what this does. I'm going to give you that sense of, oh, I used to be so attracted to that, but ugh, I don't even want that anymore. That doesn't even look good to me. That is the real cure because if you don't solve that, then the pattern repeats because chemistry and attraction are so powerful. And I knew that I had to come up with something so good that even if you were wildly attracted and just wanted to jump into bed, that I could give you the eyes to see that, oh, even though I'm having all those feelings, I also see the red flags and I have the strength to say no. Imagine, imagine having to Imagine that being your challenge. But my clients are doing it, and it's so amazing. They'll just say, "Oh my god, Melissa, I was on this date and he is so hot." And I was like all giddy, but then I just started to see it and it was like, ugh, and they're able to reject guys that they felt like they would have been enamored with for weeks or months and waiting for their calls. They're not doing it anymore. And they're becoming attracted to the types of guys, also not ugly guys. You do not have to be with an unattractive guy because guess what? Unattractive guys are still jerks too. So all the good looking guys are not the nice guys, and the ugly ones are, or I'm sorry, all the good looking guys are not the ones that are bad boys. This is not about looks, and you will understand that. It's not about their job. It's not about how much money they make. There's so much to it, but once you get it, once it's simplified, you're going to feel so empowered and so confident and so much better about yourself. And this area will no longer be a mystery. And you will go from junior high to Ivy League. You will no longer be, you'll be the Ivy League boss babe. We have to come up with a name for that. But that is the purpose of this so that when you're dating, whether you want to be on apps or date in real life or wherever you find the right person, you're going to feel ready. And um, the whole process of falling in love is going to be organic for you. It's going to feel right. You're going to feel calm. Your nervous system isn't going to be all out of whack, and you're going to have the right experience. So it does not matter how old you are or how young you are. This process works. So if you want to schedule a call with me, you can click the link and get on my calendar, or just send me a message anywhere on social media and say, hey, I'm ready. Send me a link to your calendar, or you can find the link to my calendar in my Instagram bio. So wherever you need to find my calendar, you can email me, melissa@gumballlove.com. If you have questions, I want you to have all of your questions answered, because this is not a program that you will be high pressure. I don't high pressure you, because you got to feel ready. You got to be at the point where you're like, all right, I'm done with everything. I'm ready to do this. I want to change, and I want to find love. I'm ready to do this work. So if you're ready to jump in, I have to say, I am the most excited about my program right now than I ever have been, because I have had massive, massive research breakthroughs. You will die. It's incredible. So, are you ready? If you're ready to work with me, if you're like, I don't know, maybe I just need to, that's the purpose of the call. So we sit down, we talk about you and how does this apply to your specific situation, because it is 1000% customized. I work with you. We do one-to-one calls together. You can do group coaching calls, and I even have a Slack group, which is kind of like a private Facebook group, but it allows us to be able to direct message each other. And we can do voice notes and text message. So in between calls, you can be chatting with me and we get to know each other and get more comfortable, because I like this to feel like, like a sisterhood, where it's like, even if I'm younger than you or older than you, whatever, you can feel like I'm a big sister, where you can reach out and ask questions and have the dialogue that you feel embarrassed to have with even maybe your sister, your brother, or your best friend, your mom, whatever. Like, if you're just tired of having these conversations, because let's face it, they're not giving great advice. It's not helping you break the pattern. They remember the ex and they have all the feelings about him, and you need a third party. And remember, this is not therapy. This is coaching. So we have a goal and we're going to meet the goal. And I'm very motivated to make sure that you get everything out of this program, because I'm doing this for success stories and I will pour into you. So if you want, I am like big sister, mama bear. I will pour into you and make sure you get everything you need, so you walk away feeling like a total badass. We are going to close this gap of you not knowing what's wrong, and you're not going to say, what's wrong with me? Why am I not finding a guy? I feel so like, I get it. And I want to take all that away, so you feel nothing but confidence and have positive expectation that you are going to meet him. And it is only a matter of when and not if. And you're going to realize this is much closer than you think. Okay? So these are your last single days. I've even thought about naming my program that, your last single days. So once you start working with me, your single days are almost over. So if you're ready for that and you want to get ready for the love of your life, the best relationship you've ever had, and the last time you'll ever have to do this, then you're my girl. You're the right person for this program. So message me, email me, whatever works for you. Get on my calendar, but jump on this, because a lot of people are joining. I feel like people are feeling this like, oh my God, I got to get in. Get in now, because also I cannot coach this one-to-one forever. I have to figure out a way to, or not figure out a way. Eventually, uh, I have to be able to teach this to thousands of people, and I'm not going to be able to be there working with everybody one-to-one. Eventually, this will just be a virtual program with videos and audios, because there's only one of me. So this is a chance to work with me direct. I'm the actual creator of this method. So take advantage of this if you can, if you feel like this is right. I want you to think about it. I want you to pray about it. This has to feel like, when your whole body is like, yes, I need to do this. I want to do this. That's the way it needs to feel. So just like I said, sleep on it, pray about it, think about it, and then schedule the call. And, you can think about it after the call. There's no pressure on you to make a decision, because this has to, like I said, feel like the right place and the right fit. But if it is, I will be so excited to work with you. And I just can't wait. This is so exciting to be able to change the trajectory of your life and get you on the path to true love and everything else you want to experience along with your true love. Just think of all the things you can be doing. Right now, I'm planning my trip. We're going to London, then we're going to Greece, to Santorini. After that, we're going to Athens. Then we're going to the south of France and Saint Tropez, back to London. My husband's family is all in London. And so think of like, this is just dreamy. I live in New York City. I'm literally living the dream that I talked about. And I even was coaching this in 2018. Before I had it, I knew I was onto something and I knew that my husband was coming, and he was. It was only 2 years after I launched my program that my husband and I reconnected. And so I am living it. I am the example. And my clients that have had successes are also, if you want to talk to a former client as well, if you say, hey, you know what, I just want to talk to one of your students and see what they thought of the program, I'm happy to do that. And there'll also be testimonial videos that you can look at as well. So message me, reach out, schedule your call, and I will see you soon. I can't wait to meet you.